sign's not about us, is it?
I hope not.
Here we are, Clarkson's General Store, Clarkson, Mississippi. We're going to be hanging out today with our new friend Crawfish Chris. He's going to take us through the menu of Superior Catfish and all their fine products. We'll have our good friend Fred from Superior Catfish is going to join us today, and a couple of MSU legends.
I'm really excited to talk to Johnthan Banks today. Most importantly, I'm excited to eat some catfish, but I don't know if I can get up out of this chair, Brian.
It's very comfortable, and I feel at home.
I really do.
Yeah, this is where an old man like me should spend his afternoons.
This is Mississippi at its best. This is going to be catfish at its best. Let's
All right,
go check it out.
Let's do it. This is Thunder and Lightning here on SuperTalk Mississippi. Brian, Hadad, and Robbie Faulk here with you live at Clarkson's General Store, Clarkson, Mississippi. This is our third stop on the Thunder and Lightning Summer Catfish Tour, brought to you by the good folks at Superior Catfish. We're starting off hot today. We got an All-American in the house, a Thorpe Award winner, an NFL player, and now a Mississippi High School football coach. MSU legend Johnthan Banks starting off the show here. This is how we should start every show.
I wish we could.
I wish
really
we had one. We need more. We need more of this. What's going on, John?
How you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Man, this is Webster County is Johnthan Banks' territory.
This is it. This is home.
You said maybe it's about 10 minutes from here?
Maybe it's about 10 minutes. But Webster County, it all runs the same.
So who more popular in Webster County, Johnthan Banks or Robbie Faulk?
Probably Robbie right now.
It depends on where you go.
Yeah.
If you go to Eupora, no.
Yeah.
If you're at East Webster, maybe.
Are you aware that
East Webster, that's home.
I don't know if you know this, but they don't like him at. Is it Eupora?
Me and Johnthan are probably on the same wavelength.
No.
They might not like him at Eupora.
Those people at Eupora actually like me.
Okay, then I'm the bad guy.
You're the bad. Well, I can live with that. You're the man in the black hat.
I can't believe that they've got Johnthan to wear red and blue.
He's at Heritage Academy.
I know, it's crazy.
Oh, hey, the check call. So I had to.
the check is green. All right. Yeah. The money with the check is green.
Yes.
Mississippi State, the one huge part of your life, obviously. 4-year starter at Mississippi State. Played in huge games. Played on great teams with great players. Is it possible for you to pick a moment? Is there a moment where you can say that's my number one?
Well, my number one moment obviously would be picking up Tim Tebow twice.
Yeah.
But my biggest moment was my son. He was born my senior year, the summer of my senior year. Him coming to my first game, and we played South Carolina. Had a pick, broke up a pass for another pick. Had a great game. His first time ever coming to a game, and I can remember it like it was yesterday.
That's really cool.
So that was a big moment for me.
Take me back to your freshman year. I remember it was kind of tough for you going from 2A, 1A football to Mississippi State. I know you had some moments there where you felt like you wanted to go home. What was it like transitioning from that to the SEC, and then ultimately, as a true freshman, you're playing?
Man, it was hard. I came in with little to no expectations to play as a freshman, and I got there. I was a little different, We built a little different around here. I'm not bragging, but the people in West Canada, we built a little bit different. So then my expectations started to grow a little bit. Coach Mullen started to put a little bit more on me. It got hard, I'm a freshman. I weigh 160 pounds. They asked me to go out here and go against guys that been with college, guys that's going to be first round, second round draft picks. And it was tough, But I had a great family, had great people from this community, always reaching out to me, encouraging me. God rest her soul, Miss Jerry Tennant. She was one of them, I'm still friends with her family, but my family and my old high school coaches, Coach Jimmy Card and Coach Doug and all those guys, they just always stayed by me. Till this day, I see them, it's like I'm still little Johnthan, even though I'm old with my old kids, but they still keep, nobody ever called me Johnthan around here, but I'm still little Banks to them. And I always appreciated the people here, the support I had here. Even all my friends, a lot of my friends were Ole Miss people. But when I went to Mississippi State, it was Mississippi State people. Even when we played Ole Miss, they rooted for me. So I was always appreciative of people from Webster County.
Had a really good support system. Coach Chew, what we know about him around here, Coach Doug, there's some great folks. So,
what do you think about Mississippi State and the way they recruit the state of Mississippi? It's all about those 3-star kids that nobody else is offering, that you were one of them. turned into an All-American and a Thorpe Award winner. Is it a Mississippi State thing, or is it a Mississippi thing that we just have talent that people sleep on here in this state?
And that's what I think it is. We have talent. We have a lot of talent. And I'm appreciative of Mississippi State for being able to recognize and notice and acknowledge that talent that nobody else noticed. Everybody wants the 4 or 5 star guys. I want those guys that went and worked out in the hayfield, go pick cotton in the summer, go work on granddaddy's on this building the farm or something. Those the type of guys I want. They know how to be men. They know how to work hard.
What is it about that group that, if you go back to Mullen's first class in 09, that was a great class, but it's not that, just that he got some good players. We're starting to see you guys kind of filter into leadership roles. Tobias as a head coach, you're moving towards that direction as well. Nick Griffin just became a head coach down in South Mississippi. I mean, Sam Williams is at Brandon. I mean, we're just seeing it across the board, just a lot of leadership from you guys. But what is it about you guys that kind of brings that out of?
Man, the most important person in a college football program is the strength coach.
Mm-hmm.
Most people don't know that. It's the
Yeah.
strength coach. They're going to spend the most time with the guys. They're going to be around the guys, and they're going to develop the body. We had the best leader I ever been around in my life, Matt Bayless. He teach you how to be a grown man from day one. And I'm so appreciative of him. He changed my life for the good forever. If anybody ever made an impact in my life, it was Matt Bayless. Hard work, know how to fight through adversity, know how to deal with stuff when times are hard, know how to handle success. He taught us all that. And I have had some opportunities to be a head coach. I'm not ready for it, have a different lifestyle. And, being a head coach, I have a super commitment.
Yep.
So I like being an assistant, working for good people like Tobias, one of my best friends, college roommates. And just putting myself around good people. I've always had good people in my corner. People have my back. And that was one thing about growing up here in Webster County. Everybody took care of me.
Yep.
It really is something that, it's been 2009, so we're talking about 15, 16 years. And how many players from your era still talk about Matt Bayless and the impact that he had on them? It really is something. I remember Chad Bumpus, his Twitter handle used to be being Bayless made.
Yeah.
It's something. And you're right. I think the strength coach is such an underrated part of college football.
I think at one point in time, Coach Bayless was an assistant head coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that important.
Yeah.
So Tobias can vouch for it because Tobias would have been like a first-round draft pick. People don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
He had some injuries.
Yes.
So with those injuries, he spent a lot of time with Coach Bayless. And I say he's probably one of the most influential people I've ever had in my life besides my grandma. He's second.
Wow.
Second to my grandma.
We had you on. We don't want to go too far down the road with this. We had you on for the Egg Bowl, and I think the yard I used was electric show. For hearing your comments on the Ole Miss. I don't want to go too far down the road with that, but you played in 4 Egg Bowls. You won 3 of them. The 2009 Egg Bowl is a game that always stands out to me because that to me is like the start of the turnaround for Mississippi State football. Going to that day, State, you guys were 4-7. Ole Miss was 8-3. They had just beaten LSU. They were riding a high, and then they come to Starkville. Just take us back through that day and some of the memories you have of it.
Man, they had some guys. They had D-Mac, had a really good quarterback, had Shahad. They had some guys on that team. We wasn't supposed to be them. But like I said, go back to Matt Bayless. He put something in us that a whole lot of people didn't have. We was tough. We was more tougher than them. We wanted them more than them, and we play harder than them. So we just physically beat the hell out of them, And that's what it was.
But kind of moving towards where you are right now, and I know you mentioned that you got other things on your plate. I know you got the farm out there. You like to ride horses and things like that. Now you're at Heritage Academy. You've been at New Hope. You were at Starkville for a few months, I think, working with them. I mean, what made you want to transition into this coaching life a little bit?
Well, like I said, I was raised by my grandma in helping people, motivating, building leaders. I think that was instilled in me. I think God put me on this earth to do that. And I almost got out of coaching, And I set out a spring coach. And Tobias, one of my best friends. Before this job, we literally talked every day. But I just think it's my calling, I know how to reach the kid and get the kids like nobody else does. I mean, I just keep it real with them, you know. And I've been at Heritage for 3 weeks, and like I said, I got a really good relationship with a lot of those kids. I thought it would be a lot different, but it's great. I love it. I love New Hope. Love working over there. Had great boss over there, Matt Smith. I appreciate him for everything he ever done for me. But being at Heritage for these 3 weeks, I've had so much fun getting to know everybody over there and getting to know those kids. And I'm like a sponge, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for kids just connect with me, and I connect with them. So I think it was my calling to go out and lead, help these young men try to achieve their goals and their dreams.
You were kind of the start of a great run of defensive backs at Mississippi State going into the NFL. You and Darius Slay on the same team, obviously Will Redmond a few years later. And now you have this run with Cam Dantzler, Martin Emerson, and Emmanuel Forbes, a first-round pick. I see a lot of – when I watched Forbes, I was like, he looks like a skinnier John Banks, which I never thought I could say, right? Because you were skinny as you could be out there. This guy was skinnier than you.
He was
somehow.
skinnier than me.
But he found a way to get the job done. And, you think about, Melvin Smith has been a great defensive backs coach, from Tony Hughes, obviously, for a long time. Again, is it just the kind of athlete you can find in Mississippi? Because most of those kids that I just mentioned are Mississippi kids.
Yeah, like I said, we built different. We wanted a little bit more. I wasn't the most athletic guy on the team. I wasn't the fastest guy on the team, but I had the heart. I had that dog in me. I wanted to fight. I wanted a little bit more, And like I said, we had some great DBs. Darius Slay may be the best athlete I ever met in my life. Mm-hmm. Besides Brooke Graham, Darius Slay, number 2 behind him. He's not from here, but he was around me enough. He's still one of my best friends. We talk every day. He's still one of my best friends to this day. And he was around me long enough where it rubbed off on him. He was a little different when he came. Mm-hmm. And we was around each other long enough, and he got that mentality to go on with his skill set. And he's one of the best corners in the game.
It really is crazy to me to follow his stretch too. He signed with State and nobody knew who he was. Goes to ICC, comes to Mississippi State, and ends up becoming one of the better cornerbacks in the league. Then you have you come from a small town Mississippi, not rated really highly. You become a Thorpe Award winner. It's crazy. Both of those guys were on the same team to me. Yeah. It's still hard to believe.
Yeah, that team. I don't think people realize from 10 to 12 how much NFL talent there was on those two defenses.
I could say, honestly, no disrespect to any of our guys. Tobias can vouch for me. Y'all can vouch for me. We had good quarterbacks, but we was a quarterback away from being like a legit top 5, top 10 team.
Yeah.
And then had some bad luck too. In 2013, Tyler Russell went down with an injury.
Yeah, that's
Dak wasn't quite ready, but he got was getting kind of
Exactly.
rising.
So,
it just you're probably
Dak
right.
was a baby, so
Yeah.
and you could
Still developing.
he was still developing. If we had Dak, senior Dak, Dak, maybe that's us playing in the national championship.
So before I let you go, do you know that Fred Smoot called me and got in an argument with me because of you?
Really?
I'm going to tell this story. So we did a thing.
Did you get a word in?
I didn't get many. So I did a thing for this. I worked for this podcast company, and we did the 5 greatest defensive backs in Mississippi State history. And I ranked you number 1. And I ranked him number 3. And he found out about it. And he blew me up on Twitter. He's like, I need to talk to you. So I got him, and I did an interview with him. He crushed me for about 10 minutes. And I was just like, Fred, he's like, who did you have number 2? I said, I had Walt Harris number 2. It's like, Walt Harris, a first-round pick. He was an NFL Defensive Player of the Year. I was like, I got to give it to him. He's like, and he's
Harris and Banks put out the numbers.
And he said, well, what about Banks? I was like, he won the Thorpe. Like, that's the recognition of the best defensive back. I have to make him number 1. You didn't win the Thorpe. He's like, man, let me tell you, he just crushed me.
Well, Fred is my guy.
I know.
If I'm gonna give you the top 5 corners to ever play at Mississippi State,
Do it.
right now,
Yeah.
no order,
Mm-hmm.
no order.
No word.
Johnthan Banks, Darius Slay, Fred Smoot, Walt Harris, and Emmanuel Forbes.
Forbes.
Yep.
That's a heck of a.
I'm not going to argue much with you.
Forbes is one of the best football players to ever play at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
He knows this, and I say it all the time. It's a wrestling term. I'm a mark for Emmanuel Forbes. Like, I love Emmanuel Forbes. I love watching him.
I honestly was glad he left. I wish you
Hey,
that's
If
all
he would have had one more game, he might have done it.
one more game. It was over.
It's so funny to hear former college players. I interviewed Aaron Murray the other day, and I was talking about Will Rogers. He's like, I want Will Rogers to have a great season, but not break my record. I was like, I don't think that's possible. He's like, well, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, me, my son, my kids keep up with me. My son love football, know everything about me. I don't discuss it with him, but
Yeah.
Forbes, we was playing that last game. Forbes, I think he ended with 14 picks.
Yeah. Something
And
like that.
he said he come back, he breaking that record.
Yeah.
I'm like, you gonna be forgotten. Like, you're probably right. But I said, hey, the record's really not mine. I missed a pick. It should be mine.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember my last game at Mississippi State. Well, it really wasn't my last game, but I dropped a pick against Middle Tennessee. I would have broke the record. Crushed my heart, but Emmanuel Forbes, his game is different. Dude
Yeah.
is. Dude,
He's
I was
gonna
at
be a
least
star.
190 when I was in college. Dude, 160.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Playing college football.
Yeah.
Well,
He was a great tackler, could cover, was super fast,
Yeah.
block kicks.
I think that you're probably the most comparable to him because both of y'all had kind of that offensive mindset on the side of the ball.
Yep.
Because
Turn defense and all.
you played both sides of the ball. You played everything at East Webster. So that kind of came natural to you. I feel like it did for him too. He could have played wide receiver at State.
He could have.
I still believe that, and I think they
I always thought
tried
they should
to
have let
make
him
him.
return it. You know, you did the same thing with you. They wouldn't let you return until you were a senior,
senior.
and then you had the long punt return for a touchdown. And I was like, why hadn't this guy been doing this for the last 4 years?
Well, we had Ted Bumpus.
Yeah, but Bumpus, he's not that great.
Chad's really good with that ball.
He's gonna get you.
Now I'm gonna get a phone call from Bumpus.
He may not never come on this show.
Yeah.
He may miss it.
Bumpus is my guy. He'll come on the show. Jonathan Banks, thanks so much for your time, man.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it. Let's
guys for
get
having
get some lunch in just a minute.
Most definitely. Thank you.
Appreciate you, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the president of Superior Catfish. Fred Johnson, the president of Superior Catfish. I asked, what's your title? I'm the president. So I want you to make an executive order that Robbie and I get free catfish whenever we want it.
Well, we'll have to see about that.
Okay. You know what?
I'll check with my staff.
That's
Put
good
him on the
policy.
spot.
It's
Put him on the
what
spot right here. That's how you do it.
Yes.
When you press record, then you put him on.
You put him on the spot. You don't do it beforehand
because he could be rude.
Yeah. Once we're recording, he's like, I'm the face of my company. I have to be a polite person. In reality, I want to tell these guys to get the heck out of here. They're not getting anything free. In fact, they're going to
wait a
charge
minute.
them more.
Where do you get free lunches?
Huh?
Can I go there too?
Well, I think Brent's picking up the tab today.
Oh,
so
cool.
that's what we need to do is just tell him, hey, we're going to eat and you're paying.
Hey, I can make that work.
Superior Catfish, this is our third stop on the tour. You've been to all of them, and I heard that behind the scenes you were like, when do I get to be on the show?
Sorry, that's not true.
We heard you just been dying.
You've
to get
been
on this show.
dying to get on this show with us.
Well, if that was true, then why wouldn't have I been on the first one?
That's a good point. You're the president. You could have issued an executive order and
exactly
said,
right.
I'm going to do that. This is your company, your family's company. And we've been talking about family at every stop and what it means for Superior Catfish. We talked to Brent, your brother, talked to Pam. Now we're going to talk to you. When I say family and Superior Catfish, what does that mean to you?
Well, I think to me, my dad started raising catfish in 1985. And it's been a family thing ever since. I was telling someone here, my dad said, I've got to learn to fry catfish when he started raising it. And he's tweaked it, and that's where I learned it. And that's family, when you pass on something you've learned to your children. And that's what we're doing at Superior. I feel like what was started there as far as flavor criteria, quality, it's been passed on from one generation to the next. And I feel like that's what makes us special.
Another thing too, you mentioned to me the other day that you were working down on the floors, you were packaging catfish, delivering it. What's your story? How did you get to where you are now? And I mean, obviously, every single one of y'all have been in this business for a long time, means something to all of y'all. I mean, just how big of a deal is this to you, and how important is it for you to be in this business?
Well, that's a big question. In 1998, I needed a job. I needed groceries. I had a wife and 2 small children. And at that time, Superior was paying the best wages in the community. And so I went and applied for a job and thinking it'd be a 3-month job, just a stopping off place.
Yeah.
And the first day they put me on the gut row. Now, do you guys know what the gut row is?
Yeah, we saw it. We got to see it, but for our listeners and our viewers, tell us what the gut row is.
That's where, after the fish's head is cut off, you stand there and you suck the guts out of it. I mean, this is crude talk, guys, but that's just what it was.
Yeah.
You don't start any lower.
Yeah.
You understand.
Right.
Well, I eventually was promoted to slit in the belly. That's one step.
This feels like the conversation on Coming to America is like, and then eventually you're cutting the heads off, and that's when the big bucks start rolling in.
So, yeah, that's just how it went. And they were asking me on the way down today, thinking back, what was probably a red letter day? I would say in my first year of employment there, getting toward the anniversary, there had been some changes in the management, and they asked me if I'd step in as assistant manager, production manager. I was like, wow, this can't be happening. I never anticipated that I would have any kind of a management role. And so, yeah, I took that, and in 2003, we moved into our current production facility where we're at. And in 2005, I was asked to take over sales. At that point, we'd been a small enough company where the general manager was the sales manager, the maintenance manager. He was everything. And the board of directors felt like we needed someone that would be in charge of sales. So I took over sales. I was the first sales representative of Superior, designated that. 3 years later, there was an opening in general management. They asked me if I'd fill that role. How could I say no?
Right. At that point, it's become your career.
That's right.
That's really
And now it's more than a career for you. But this is
Right.
this is you.
Well, it's not just me. It's the good people that work there with me. It's our farmers, our farmer base, and I love it. I see these third-generation farmers. These young boys are out there on the farm with their dads, feeding fish, learning how to do fish. It's just awesome.
I have an idea. I want to run it by you. I don't know that Robbie's going to like it. I may not like it, though, when it's all done. We do a contest every year where we pick football games, right? And it's always been the loser has to take the winner out to dinner.
Okay.
Right? How about this year the loser has to work a couple hours on the gut row?
I don't like that idea. Unless of course,
you win. In which case, you'd be in there
Well,
with
you just got to make sure you win.
you'd be in there with a camera, just like, look at Hadad. Look at him.
Here's the thing about
that
that. When we both go out to eat, we both
win. That's how we look at it.
I think somebody's losing.
No, somebody's losing for sure. Oh, you still get the dinner.
Nah, yeah, that's true.
But you also have to do, we'll think about that.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Well,
you were telling us that the biggest catfish you've ever, I don't know if caught's the right word, but processed, I guess, 47-pound. Can you eat a 47-pound catfish?
Well, yeah, you can.
Okay.
You just got to strip it up into little 1-ounce strips.
Well, yeah, that's like, you get 47 of them if you do. I know it's not even right. It's 47 pounds.
Times 16 ounces.
I can't do that math. Yeah. That's way beyond me. But when you think about how many catfish come in to Superior every year and then go out, and then they come in as whole fish and they go out as the fillets that we all love at different restaurants. Nobody ever thinks about the process, right? They just go to the grocery store and buy the catfish. Process is what you're about, and the process at Superior is different than other places, and that's why it's Superior.
Well, that's what I feel like puts us on the map, so to speak. I think it's been reiterated. Brent has said it, but again, our people are committed to quality. I feel like every person, even if today someone that's on the gut row, quality starts right there. They know that if they don't do a good job, you can't end up with a good product. And, that's been kind of hard to get across, but once you get that in everybody's mind, that everybody is quality control, and that we work together as a team, you just can't help but put out a good product doing it that way.
Tell me about some of y'all talked about the new upgrades that y'all have had over there at the plant. Tell me about some of those upgrades and what's everything looking like right now at the Superior plant.
Well, we started our new expansion in 2020. We started building. Actually, a lot of footwork, a lot of
That's
work.
a heck of a time to expand.
You got that right. The board of directors looked at me one day and they said, with this pandemic, is this a wise idea? I said, well, you guys tell me. They looked at me and said, but the needs will still be the same after the pandemic as they are right now? I said, absolutely.
Yeah.
They said, why would we stop?
Yeah.
So I think it was a good thing. Yes, it's been some dark days, but I see light. And our scheduled moving is August 1st, excuse me.
Yeah.
And we hope to be processing the first processing in the new facility on August 7th.
So coming up.
It's coming right on up.
Wow.
So we've been making plans and everybody's getting revved up. So we're excited about that. Yeah, some of the upgrades, the plant that we built, we came from a processing facility that didn't have all the amenities we have today. And this is even going to be another step above that. And I feel like to meet USDA inspection demands, it's just exactly what we need. It's going to fit our needs perfectly.
We all love fried catfish. That's the crown jewel of catfish.
It is.
But other than fried catfish, what's your favorite way to eat catfish?
Blackened.
Blackened.
And I do a lot of it at home.
Really? That's something you got to, you smoke up the house if you're not careful. You got to that
Do
good
it
cast
outside on
iron.
the flat.
There you go. There he goes. There he goes.
The wife won't let me do it in the house.
No, that's a smart woman.
Yeah.
Smart woman. Mr. President, Fred Johnson, thank you so much for your time here today. We really enjoyed the Catfish Tour, and we enjoy coming to places like this here in Clarkson, Mississippi, and we enjoy talking to guys like you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate everything you're doing and you promoting catfish in general.
We appreciate y'all for making this happen.
Yeah.
I mean, we just kind of talked about this, but it had to be put in motion, and for y'all to trust
We just had a
us-
vision, and y'all put it in.
And I like that.
There you go.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Who we have here is the owner, the proprietor of this fine establishment. This is Crawfish. Oh, he's getting a round of applause. Yeah, he deserves it. Let me tell you something. Woo! Chris Reed, Crawfish Chris. Today he's Catfish Chris.
Catfish today.
What's funny is they gave Johnthan Banks and Tobias Smith a ovation after. You got one before. That's the kind of legend you want.
I lead to their stomach, so
There you-
that's
When they had some of that barbecue fried okra,
That's it.
That's some good eating. We haven't had lunch just yet, so I'm waiting on that. But I got to
mouth's
taste.
watering.
I went over there. I got a piece of a catfish off of Big Daddy's plate, and that's some good catfish. But I would
Surprised
expect.
he let you have any.
Well, he gave me a look. He's like, I don't know about this.
there's two preachers.
Just a little bitty.
There's two preachers side by side. That is a dangerous area.
That means that the one can't do anything because the other one's watching. So and, I said the catfish is good. We expect that because it's Superior Catfish.
Yes, sir.
How long have you been having a relationship with Superior?
When I started the restaurant, which was 4 years ago, I've always done Superior Catfish. I've always felt the need to stay as local as I could with all my products. And if it's not local far as Golden Triangle, it's local far as Mississippi.
What's been your experience with it? I mean, and what are your thoughts on not just the quality of fish, but the service that you've gotten from them?
Well, I've always had good service, and Superior's always a great product. And what I always tell my customers is, Superior's A to Z. They grow their crops to make their fish food. They process their fish. They box it. They ship it. They even have trucks that'll bring it to you if you're short-handed on hand. So it's all A to Z, where if you get a Delta catfish, the rise and fall of the Mississippi River changes flavor. We have lime bed catfish ponds here. They're out of Macon, so the lime don't transfer that muddy water. They're not as dirty a fish in the lime bed ponds.
So how did you get into the restaurant business? Because it wasn't just a straight shot for you.
Well, I actually started several years ago with Sonic. I managed a few Sonics. After that, I went offshore for a while, and I picked up a bunch of Cajun coon-ass recipes, back and forth.
I was going to ask you.
Camps and everything.
I saw. Gigi, I got a curse. I'm very sorry. I got to do it though. Well, I want you to tell me what's on the coon-ass sandwich.
All right, the coon-ass sandwich.
I'm sorry, but I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mom. Of course, it has 2 fillets of Superior Catfish.
Yeah.
We have 6 fillets of alligator bites, what we call them.
Okay.
So fried alligator. We have 6 butterfly shrimp.
Yeah. On the sandwich?
On the sandwich, we have a handful of crawfish tails, lettuce, tomato, red onion.
Oh, that's a salmon at that point. It's healthy.
And we have a Zydeco sauce that I make up. So we
You
have
got your own sauce on there. That's right. Robbie wants one of those sandwiches. I can tell you.
To describe it, it's about the size of a newborn baby. So I mean, it's big.
Speaking of big, now we're here on the Superior Catfish Tour. and we're talking about catfish, but I heard this is a good place to get a steak. You can get a tomahawk ribeye here at Crawfish Chris's.
We have 40-ounce plus tomahawk steaks. And
Really?
40 ounce?
Do you happen to have one nearby? Oh, there's one right there. Look
I
at
just
that.
happen to have one that I freshly cut yesterday.
Don't let Fred and Brent say that we're talking about red meat here, but look at this beautiful thing. Let me tell you right now, all you need to do is cook that on this 10 seconds. 10 seconds, bring it out here. I'll be willing to eat it.
This is Braveheart Black Angus.
Goodness gracious.
The best of the best.
So you can get
Superior Braveheart. I mean, we did
everything. This is, again, we talked about it last week. We were at Long's Fish Camp last week down in Enterprise. When we talked about this tour, and when we talked about going in places in Mississippi, this is the places we were envisioning. These little hole-in-the-wall places. If you brought somebody here from New York City and pulled in the parking lot, they'd be like, no way. No way the food in there is any good.
We have people that pull in, and they'll go straight to the Coke machine like they're getting the Coke, and they'll be looking around. You're in the right place.
You're good.
Come on down here.
But this is
I call this is Crawfish Chris's highfalutin hole in the wall.
There we go.
So we've got the best food you can get,
Man.
and we got the best service you can have. We have
Well, we are
really good places.
we are ready to eat some of that food. So let's get some catfish going. I mean, I'm not going to say anything if one of these shows up.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Make it happen.
I'm not going to say anything. Chris Reed, Crawfish Chris, Clarkson General Store. If you are within 50 miles of this place at dinner time, you need to come here and get you something to eat.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights.
Come to Clarkson's General Store and get you some Superior Catfish, some Braveheart beef, and whatever the man says he wants to cook for you, eat it. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Yes,
Appreciate you, Chris.
Thank y'all.
From one Bulldog legend to another one, Tobias Smith, now the head coach at Heritage Academy, former Mississippi State offensive lineman, played for Coach Kroom, played for Coach Mullen. I always ask this question when I talk to former Bulldogs who are coaches now. Tell me something that you take from Coach Kroom, something you take from Coach Mullen, and bring it to your coaching philosophy now.
Both of them are really good guys. They were different in the aspect of how they approach the guys and how they approach coaching. Coach Mullen, he was more tough, physical. You can I don't know how you can be a physical in conversation, but he was physical.
Yeah,
he was more laid back and you could tell that he really cared about the guys. I mean, both of them, you could tell Mullen could too, but Krohn, it was just something extra there. That when he walked in the room, he demanded, the respect, and he demanded that, everyone cared about it, and you saw that from him.
For years, I had a Coach Hevesy impression, and I made a lot of people laugh. Tobias, we're gonna get out there. Tobias, you just keep yourself low, pump your hips, we're gonna be all right.
Pump your hips.
That was our thing, and it would always end it with "Get out of here, just get out of here." So give me a Coach Hevesy story that you can tell on the air.
It ain't many. But Coach Hevesy actually told us a long time ago what college football was going to look like today. So I don't know how he knew it, but he said that it'll be a huge money deal. And it's always been about money, but he told us that, NIL would be a factor. And I didn't see it at the time, but 12 years later, I'm seeing it all. I'm like, dang, how did he know that far? But, I guess in the job and profession that he was in, he saw it.
So for you, when you got to Mississippi State, a lot of people were excited about what you're going to bring to the table, and so many injuries just kind of took hold. When you were healthy, it was obvious what your talent was and what your impact was. Take me through all your injuries that you went through and how tough that was.
Man, it was so crazy. But some of my injuries I still was a blessing in disguise. I was actually getting ready to play as a true freshman. I wasn't ready to, but I was one of the strongest guys on the team when I walked in the door. I was athletic, and I was, picking up the playbook good enough. So my freshman year, we were in a team meeting, and Coach Kroom was just going through, and he named 5 guys: me, Charles Mitchell, Delmon Robinson, one other guy. And he told us, you guys don't even think about redshirt. Y'all going to be on the bus. 2 weeks after that, I had a season-ending ankle injury. So, and that happened again the next year. And then the following year, I think I tore my rotator cuff. So, and all I had 5 surgeries. So, I thought one thing that helped me get through that was Coach Bayless, man. He a rock, man. And I talked to him every holiday. I wish him, happy holiday. I just told him happy Father's Day on Father's Day last week. Man, dude means so much to me.
How did you transition out of football, knowing you're not gonna play for a long time, and you're trying to find the next step? What was that transition like for you?
Man, it was so hard, man, because when I started playing football, I wanted to go to the NFL, and my injuries just wouldn't let that happen for me. So in transitioning into my second part of my life, you know, after football, I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, and I actually used 1 year as a graduate. This is my last year. I used it as a graduate assistant, and I loved it. And so, you know, I don't think I could do anything else besides football. So,
One thing that you notice, if you look around this state, there's a lot of Bulldogs in high school coaching. And I mean, that's a plus in recruiting, right? Because you can go in there and be like, hey, Coach Smith, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas if Lane Kiffin shows up, you're like, hey, the lounge is over there, man.
yeah, ain't no doubt.
I ain't gonna worry about that. What is it about Mississippi State, Dan Mullen, whatever it is, that has that's led itself to so many former Bulldogs getting into high school coaching?
Well, when you got a good coach like Coach Mullen was, he showed us the way, not only as players, but if you watched him close enough, you can see, you know, what he did. And what I do at Heritage and everywhere I've gone, you know, I've taken when I was a position coach, I modeled myself after Coach Hevesy to an extent.
Yeah.
And now as a head coach, as a head coach now, I try to model myself as a Coach Mullen to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the proof is in the pudding. He's a really good head coach, and what he did worked. So, I mean, why change it? So I try to model what we do, plan to win everything at what Coach Mullen does.
You kind of paid your dues now. You've been coaching for several years. You've been at West Lounge. You've been at Heritage before and some other spots as well. How did this all come about with you becoming the new head coach at Heritage?
Well, I was at Heritage as an assistant, I think, 18, 19, or 19, 20. During that time, we were really good, man. I think we still got like 8 guys from the era playing college football.
Yeah.
So from that time, I stayed in contact with the people. I mean, the people in the community, the people in the school, they still take care of me when they see me out. The kids that I taught there, you know, they still come and talk to me. So I was actually thinking about going back as an assistant to work for Coach Poe. For whatever reason, man, my wife was at Orange Beach, and we were in Destin, and Coach Harrison texted me. He was like, "You ready to be a head coach?" And I was like, "Dang, we hadn't talked about that before, but sure." So this is how it came about, and man, it's a blessing, man. The kids that come in and work hard every day, I can't ask more of them. So it's been great so far.
Former lineman, I assume we're going to run the football at Heritage this year.
Well, we're gonna have to be a little balanced. We got to pick up some linemen first.
Okay.
But we got great athletes. The kids come every day. They work their tail off.
When you look at Mississippi State the past couple of years under Mike Leach and that air raid, how would you have done in that? Having to pass block 50 times a game?
I wouldn't want to do that because if you think about it now,
Just straight up.
I use this analogy when people ask me about it. It don't matter how good of a pitcher you are in baseball. If you throw a fastball every play, every pitch, what's going to happen?
They're going to figure it out eventually.
They're going to figure it out eventually.
Yeah.
So guess what happened if you're going to throw the ball every play?
They're coming.
They're going to come every play. And you don't know where they're coming from. And it's so tough as an offensive lineman pass blocking every play. And so I don't think I would have liked it.
So then when you see somebody like Charles Cross who makes it look easy, you just got to be like, I mean, the natural talent is just so obvious.
I mean, some guys are one of one, and he one of those guys that shoot, man. It don't matter what scheme he played in. He would have been, you know, his first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
We talked to Banks a while ago about this, but seeing so many of your former teammates coaching now, I mean, Chad Bumpus is at Mississippi State. And, you know,
all the time.
I mean, you see all these guys in high school coaching that are, you know, making a difference. Matt Wells was at camp the other day. I think he's down in South Mississippi back at his old high school. You know, Martinez Rankin's coaching.
Yep.
All these guys are in the state of Mississippi in this business. I mean, how cool is that for you to kind of see that from all your former teammates and guys that came behind you too?
Man, it's really good. I reach out to those guys and we talk. And not just all football, you know, just to, you know, check on the guys and make sure they're families. Because, man, we're really a family. So, me and Banks, we got a big group message with like 14, 15 guys in it that all play from my area. And we also got John Abrams. I know he didn't play with us, but he's in the group message. Just guys that, you know, care about one another and want to see each other excel, you know, in what they're doing. And you care about one another's family. So, it's really good to see the guys that coach. And it's good keeping up with them.
Ton of big wins while you were at Mississippi State. Does one stand out for you?
Tennessee 2012, and it was because I got SEC Lineman of the Week, man.
Yeah.
That was a tough game, man.
Yeah.
It was really good. It was back and forth, but it was a really good game, and that was one of the better games that I played. And the crowd was really good. I mean, it was always good, but
There's a game in your tenure, and if you were injured, I don't remember, but the Florida game in 2010,
away,
yeah, because of the way that game went. I mean, they threw the ball, I think, 5 times total in the game, Mississippi State. They just ran the ball and played deep. I mean, that is as old school a football game as you're ever going to see. And to do it on the road like that, what was that feeling like to walk out of there a winner?
man, it was amazing because we ran counter the whole second half. It was just different formations, gas, 36 gas, 37 gas, 26 gas, 27. And to do that to someone and just they can't stop it.
Yeah.
It's kind of got to be demoralizing to them, man. And it was really good to walk in the stadium and, everyone's against you and go in and get a win. It was huge for the program.
That was one of those games where Urban Meyer his health was hurting him a little bit.
One of my favorite.
It happened a few times.
I don't know if you've ever seen it. There's a video of him at his post-game press conference, right? And he's talking, and you can hear, like, the MSU crowd is still in the stadium. So they start cheering, and he's like, so what happened? He is so mad.
But the year before that, we played Florida at home, and Kyle Love was out the pregame, and they got the jar with the Pouncey told.
Oh, I never forget that. Everybody came in the middle of the field.
Yeah, but what happened was Pouncey told one of the boys told Kyle Love that y'all play for Mississippi State and you play for Florida, so y'all know how the game is gonna go. It turned out being a really good game.
Yeah,
but
it was.
That never left me. So
And that was a great
I always remember
was.
the pregame where everybody came in the middle, and it's Young Jeezy's playing. Put on for my city. I was like, this is one of the best moments ever. But I didn't tell him this, but I had my seat for that game. I was under the west side upper deck, and when he picks off the pass and goes 100 yards, that's the loudest I've ever heard Davis Wade say.
Really?
Like, because being under that deck trapped all that noise, I couldn't hear anything.
The two loudest moments, Anthony Johnson
is the other one.
in 07, and then Banks right before halftime.
You being a lineman, I always remember the Anthony Johnson pick. He starts running, and I'm like, oh, that guy has a beat on him. And then I realized that guy's number was like 71.
No chance.
And then it was just like watching somebody pull away on the interstate. Just like, no chance. Those are my top.
That was the loudest I've ever heard.
But those are the top.
But the Banks one was right there with it, and that moment was just, I mean, a true freshman picking off a Heisman winner.
It was crazy.
It was nuts.
It's absolutely.
And you felt like when that happened, you felt like, okay, this program's going to be really good.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can go.
I always go back. I hate to bring up a bad. I always go back to that Christian Dupree in the second half. They threw a long pass to him and he dropped it.
Up the down the middle. Of
and if I was always like, if he caught that might have been a little different.
Never know what I would have played.
One of those great moments though. Now you're a high school coach. Your season. I mean, we're only when does fall camp start for you? When do you start two days?
July the 24th. Our first game will be before school starts.
That's crazy.
That's so crazy to think.
Everything's moving up.
It is. It's
gonna be hot.
It's going.
That's way.
I know it's gonna be hot. I'll just tell you that.
Hot. But the thing about it is, we'll be done playing before Thanksgiving.
That's just. Well, you hope you're done.
Well, the season.
You hope you're not done. When's the championship?
Will be done before Thanksgiving.
Okay. Gosh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's
MAIS.
MIS. Okay. Okay. I'm still getting used to MAIS. My school was
St. Al, right?
Look at my man here.
Hey, listen, I listen to the show.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
I'm an avid listener.
They've just moved MAIS, I think, like 2 years ago. So I'm still trying to get used to everything. If they play, I don't know if they play all this year. If they do,
no, we don't.
Please be gentle, because that team is.
And listen,
I'm gonna get you down there.
Hey, I'm pretty sure you had that coach on the show. Everybody likes the team in June, so you must say, "We'll take here to jump."
I would tell Coach Nettles to his face, be like, "I don't like your team at all." To be honest with you. So
but everybody likes.
I'm just saying.
In June.
You need to start looking at some houses in Vicksburg. We're going to get you down there. You're going to take over that program.
Vicksburg's a long way from Columbus.
It is a long way, but I promise we got good restaurants down there. We'll take care of you. I promise. So,
Sean Harrison, somebody come down here and get Brian Hadad now.
I'm trying to recruit. I'm recruiting.
Listen, I ain't even coached my first game yet.
You can't be any worse than that guy from Shelton.
Well, hey, listen. Coach is a fraternity, so I ain't going to
say nothing. All right. Anything else before we go?
I'm ready for some catfish.
I'm ready to eat. I think
We're gonna get
I
Tobias
can eat
catfish.
catfish every day. I promise you.
Let's do that then. All right.
You're in the right place, my friend.
We appreciate this. We're on stop number 3 here at Clarkson's General Store. Stop number 4 is going to be in Robbie's hometown.
Yes, sir.
Louisville, Mississippi. Where's Big Daddy? Big Daddy.
He's got a mouth. He's got a mouthful.
We're going to be in Louisville next week. You coming? Big Daddy's going to be there.
We have my mother is in the house. We have not said anything.
I haven't said anything vulgar. I've been very good. I'm trying. All I had to drink today was a Coke Zero. Yes, ma'am. I'm trying.
My
to
mom's
stay
in the house. Everything's good.
Want to thank you guys for coming out. Johnthan Banks, Tobias Smith, Fred Johnson from Superior Catfish, Chris. This is his restaurant. We're going to have him. We have him on. Really appreciate it. We'll be in Louisville next week at Lake Tiacata. Can't wait. Did I say it wrong?
No, you did. I was just excited.
Oh, you just give me. He's excited to go back. Winston County stand up. We'll be there. Thanks for listening to Thunder and Lightning here on Super Talk, Mississippi. Another great stop on the Superior Catfish Tour. We have really been living it up. The fantastic food here at Clarkson's General Store will be a place we will not forget. Where are we headed next? It's a little town that Robbie likes to call home.
Louisville, Mississippi, stand up. We are coming to Louisville next week. We're going to go to Piggly Wiggly, see the good people there. We're going to Lake Tiacata. Man, I could not be more excited about this.
Will I throw Robbie in the lake? Tune in to find out next week as we continue the Thunder and Lightning Catfish Tour presented by Superior Catfish. See y'all next week.